welcome back to Harley Quinn podcast, Pod Squad, Cobb Squad. We are here to talk Harley Quinn season 5, episode 2, which was very fantastic. Well, back with me are my buddies Keenan and Jedi Mike. How are you guys doing? Keenan, how are you doing?
I'm great. That episode is giving me flashbacks to Christmas at my sister's house.
Yeah. How are you doing, Jedi Mike?
Doing good. This was a very wild episode. Yeah. I can wait for children after watching this. Just maybe another year. You
know what? Yeah, that's pretty. Even though they're sharks, that's literally what a toddler is like. That's not even. I mean, they might not bite your arm off, but they will bite you. They bite hard. This episode, if you haven't caught on yet, is about features baby sharks. Literally, baby shark. King Shark drops off his adorable 8 fucking children at the Poison Ivy and Harley's new condo. They were trying to get it on. They were trying to, literally Christian the household. They couldn't even do that because these kids came in and just started chewing things, breaking shit. My anxiety watching the scene, I was like, as a homeowner, y'all, I was get your ass on the couch. I was literally about to lose. I was like, this is too much. It's too much. But those are Harley and Ivy are the godparents, and that is apparently their duty according to King Shark. He drops them off, and Ivy's like, I'm not fucking babysitting. I got work to do. And so Harley's stuck with kids for the day. So that is the entire episode. What do we think about this episode, you guys? Mike?
Yeah, I think it was good is adding another stage of relationships when it involves children, even if it's not children of your own, being aunt or godmother or whatever you want to call it, godparents, or just, being in the care of children, and while you're also in a relationship. And again, it's just a lot of relatable things that they're doing in a different lens. No matter how crazy out this world can be, it's still realistic. It's still, organic in terms of, oh yeah, that happens. And especially when people when that number of kids, you don't know what to do. But also how you're kind of relying on each other. One parent or person's out, and then you're like, oh, hey, I need you. You come here. They're chewing the sofa or all, stuff like that, right? But also, there's another aspect of the episode too I love was also understanding, as you're moving into a relationship, you get reminded of your past to my moments of like, hey, I moved on, but yet this still trauma is still, attached to me. So it's also important to deal with it in a healthy way. I don't know if it was a healthy way in this one, but yeah. So, but yeah, this was good.
What about you, Keenan?
I would like to know the studies on revenge lowering blood pressure. But and those kids were driving me insane. I was way more into Poison Ivy's storyline. I was like, get me back to that, because the moment she mentioned the name of that doctor, I was like,
yes,
what's about to happen? What is about to happen?
Yes.
And then we get to see her origin story.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about it. You're right. I did prefer, although the little Sean Shark made me laugh a few times with his. You want to see my penises?
Right.
And so I do the fart jokes. I'm sorry. I'm 30 in my 30s. I think farts are funny.
There's a reason why they're still hilarious. Just like falling down.
Little sharks. But I did prefer the Poison Ivy storyline. Why? Because we get to see not only her backstory, but Jason fucking Woodrue. If you're a Poison Ivy fan, if you've ever read anything Poison Ivy related, you know that Jason Woodrue is a huge part of her core story, her core upbringing, her storyline, her origin story, her villain origin story. There's always different versions of them.
And Batman Robin.
Yes. Miss Uma Thurman. We love her. There has been consistently, typically, a relationship between Jason and Pamela. She's a student. He's the professor. So clearly he's not the most moral or ethic person if he's banging his students. The show appropriately kind of portrays him as a slimy, shitty, gross, attractive guy, charismatic, sure, which is why she fell for him in the first place. But
Right.
so if you know anything about Jason Momoa, you know he ends up as the
Floronic man.
Floronic man. Thank you. I always want to add an I in there. I don't know why. Floronic man. Anyway, I want to say ironic man. That's why I think I'm messing up on that. Anyway, what do we think about Poison Ivy's storyline, her backstory, Jason's piece of shit behavior, which is really great. Like, I think he's portrayed great in this storyline. I don't think he should be sympathetic. But what do you guys think, Mike?
Yeah, I think again it kind of highlight also just another aspect of women in like relationships with professors or people of authority, and also again it really never most of the time never ends well, and in the worst way possible too, but in the comics, the way that they tackle comic storylines in this in a more digestible way. Just also knowing the audience of this show, as I mentioned previously with like the first episode, like this one's like, yeah, he in the comics, like he forcefully experimented on her. And this was more of I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna save you, and then lead to the creation of her coming. So much more lighter way, but still dark way of that, and a sinister way of that. But I like how they just hand that type of source material with her. But also understanding that too, that again, sometimes revenge is not the best answer to certain things and stuff, because then you end up creating more problems than solving them. And so I just thought, but also when those traumas are present, be transparent with your partner, saying, hey, I ran into a person and yeah, this is my past with them, just letting you know. And instead of trying to suppress it, can you think you're actually protecting them and end up causing more problems? So anybody in any relationship, marriage, whatever, you have had dealt with that one point in your life. So it's like, I like the terms of how they highlight that in this way, tackling her origin, now finally getting out of like 5 seasons. But at the same time, in a new stage of the relationship now, where like problems and stuff come up, and you're able to see them, how they resolve them or handle them, either good or poorly, in real time. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Keenan?
Yeah, this was a story, like, of course you see it coming. I even wrote my notes. So it was like, okay, he made her, she's about to make him. But I liked getting there. Like, yeah, I knew what was coming, but you took me on a good ride. And that's what it's all about. That's how I felt. I just love the fact that the way the story is told. My brain is not working right now.
No, I agree. My one thing that I was annoyed by, but then I was like, I get it, because trauma literally rewires the brain. But I was like, this smart scientist is like, I'm gonna do vengeance. Like, I know. She's like, she said she was gonna let him get out the way she did, like give him the same chance he gave her. But I was like, do you not realize that that's the same thing is going to happen to him? You're just going to create another version of like he's going to turn into a monster. I was like, Ivy, this is dumb. Just stab him in the heart. Like, I get it, her poetic vengeance, but it was very stupid because she obviously at the end we were like, oh, okay, cool. Floronic man is here. But I get it, because trauma it rewires the brain. There's been studies on it. It can change the way your brain chemistry works. So when she sees this man, she's just like, that's all reasoning. You can be the smartest, most logical person in the world, but when someone has done something so traumatic to you and you're confronted with them and you've never solved it, your brain, she probably went right back to who she used. Like, you just get thrown back into the trauma again. So I think the way they did it and the way she was like really melting down the whole episode was a smart way to like show that he really fucked her over and really fucked her up. And I think that I like the way that they did that for sure, because, and I was wondering, we took a long time to get to this storyline. And again, it's a Harley Quinn show, but I really expected something like this in season 2, but I appreciate that we have it in this season. So I liked it. I like the way that it was set up. I like to see her being like an educator, or like, in that kind of space, like a student of like learning and like being so smart. She knows about plants and stuff. That's something we we often see from Ivy, but not usually in a villainous thing, like I'm creating Eden or I'm turning everything into. This was really cool to see. When we see little baby Frank, which I want to talk about, little baby Frank needs to be a toy, a little plushie, please. I like seeing her smart. I like seeing her use her smarts, which is why it was so crushing to see her make a huge mistake. But yeah, let's talk about baby Frank and we'll go back to Harley, but I want to talk about little baby Frank. That is the reason why he betrayed her is because he wanted to steal Frank as passive because he's a piece of shit loser who steals other people's ideas because he doesn't have his own, and he's basically, I'm not gonna say his name because I don't get sued. So anyway,
allegedly.
Allegedly. What do we think about Jason Woodrue and that and the past and the Frank thing and all that? Keenan?
He is smarmy. He is just the stereotype of that kind of man that's going to lead you on, hoping to use you to keep going. And that's exactly what he was going to do. And I am a little sad that he's going to be coming back to haunt us. But I'm assuming that her serum is what kept her humanoid.
Mm-hmm. Because they said there was a combination special serum that basically like Frank was part human, part plant. So I think that's like what the serum does is to combine plant DNA with human DNA, which is why she's still human-like but green. Yeah. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I was just happy it just wasn't a version from Batman and Robin, like the whole, type of stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy, type of. That's my only. I'm sorry, I'm the youngest one in here. That's my image. Where Jason Woodrow. It's like, oh, him. Oh, okay. It's like
he's actually.
I was like, yeah.
He's got.
So I was happy not to.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I was like happy, like they're not doing the whole crazy, just cartoonish, even though it's a cartoon. But like, no, actually, a more realistic type of man that exists today, and more modern take of someone in that position that abuses power, that can be very charismatic, very charming. Only into a moment when they don't get what they want, then they say everything to devalue you, saying, oh, I'm the one that gave you this, I'm the one that gave you all this and stuff. And even though you might create something, nope, it's all mine. And so that's when that true nature comes out. Before they even come the monster, they always have been. So that's why I like to see that type of writing of those type of characters and stuff, especially how they're able to overcome this threat when he comes back and stuff. It'll be very interesting to see how they resolve it, but also hopefully because resolving it also with Harley too as well.
Yeah. And speaking of Miss Harley, we not only see King Shark this episode, we see Bane. He is married with a daughter, and they are in this Vincent Edge Club, which that caught my eye as well, because is he related to Morgan Edge? Is he Morgan Edge's father? So that caught my eye. We see this like uppity country club. Harley wants to be a part of it. She's like, any club that doesn't want me is the exact place I want to be. She is chaos personified. The eight. I counted them. 8 fucking sharks, baby sharks. And then, of course, the inevitable happens. She's trying to get into the club. She's stalking Vincent Edge. She wants to get into that. Then the kids go fucking nuts. They rip off Princess Pippa's arm. There's blood. There's a toddler shark feeding frenzy. There's limbs. There's blood. So that's typically how daycare goes in real life anyway. And I think that was pretty accurate. I actually appreciate that. This is another thing that happened with Lena coming in, and she's basically convinced Harley to do all this. This is where my theory thinks. I'm thinking Lena is sowing chaos. Why else would she be like, you guys are doing great? They like splattered Eclipso's blood all over her last episode. Nearly ruined the museum. Moved her. She's like encouraging them to move there. She's encouraging her to be a part of this club. What is Lena's motivation? Let's talk about it. Mike?
Again, I think it's more if she's working with Brainiac, if you saw in the first episode when he came to that conclusion of, I guess, 100% perfect or whatever, and then also once he got to Harley and Ivy, it was 100%. And so I think it's more of like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep these two people closer so way that I can able to take them out because they're preventing me from something that can actually be a posable threat. It's for the ultimate power of what Metropolis, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'm still trying to see like what's his end goal for Brainiac, and so it helps me understand what Lena's, because again, it's like Lena is still, she's more working on the organizational side of things and stuff, but it wasn't until the end of the episode when she came back and like literally people are mutilated and like in a pool, and then it's like, oh no, everything's fine, this is exactly what we needed. And I was like, really? Okay. So yeah, and telling the rich white man, hey, everything's fine, just know your place or something. And it's like, what? Okay. So it's interesting to see like what's her end game on there. It's like there. So I'm loving that type of power dynamic that she's having in these first 2 episodes. Like she know more what she's giving off. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's a good point. And she's a woman of color, so I think it gives me an extra bit of joy, like to see her just everybody around. Like it's nice. What about you, Keenan? What do you think?
Yes, whatever she's doing, she's building trust between our girls. So is she doing it so that she can betray them later, or so that she can get them to help her with Brainiac? That's where I am. I'm like, what is she doing? So I'm here for the ride. Let's see what she's up to.
Yeah. I love her character. I think she's fun. I think she's up to something. I think that my theory is maybe she did work with Brainiac and got this rooted in, and Brainiac's motivation is, he makes bottle cities. So I'm wondering if he's preparing Metropolis to be a bottle city at some point. It's not the first time in the comics that he's done that or try to do that. Like Brainiac likes to collect cities. And I'm wondering if she was like cut a deal with him and then it went too far. And I'm wondering if she's like encouraging these variables that are going to make things a little less perfect to stress him out, maybe for him to come out of his hidey hole. I don't know. I'm so curious because we do have a lot of actors in play. We have a lot of actors in play. We have Lena, who's a huge character on her own. Then we have Brainiac. So who's the villain of the season? I think obviously we're only 2 episodes in, but I think it's fun to have that question still, because the fact that this is a show about villains and we don't know who the villain is, because Harley and Ivy aren't the villains. They are villains, but not the villains. So I think that this is, I'm curious to see if they're just playing with us, if maybe Lena's the mastermind behind it all and just playing Brainiac, or if something else is going on. But I like that there's this question, because I think it's more layered writing than we've gotten in the last couple seasons, and it makes me excited. So yeah.
And the little girl that was with Bane is from the Queen of Fables book.
Yes, she's a fairy tale character.
Yeah, I don't remember the lady, but I know that she was Goldilocks.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my god, I never watched Hell Yeah, Kite Man, Hell Yeah. That's not, I'm sorry. I should have watched that before this season. Maybe I'll watch it.
It's a chuckle.
I should watch it between episodes. I should do that. But yeah, that's good to know. Thanks for that background. Did you watch it, Mike? Did you watch Kite Man, Hell Yeah?
Yeah, I did. No, yeah, I enjoyed it, but I was like, again, my memory was certain. I remember the Queen of Fables storyline. I just didn't know if that was that character or just looked like him, whatever, or actually was Bane's child. Even though I know they said they adopted, the child. So it was like, yeah, this Queen of Fables, like, yeah. But I had to look back and kind of look at the animations. Like, is that the same? Oh yeah, it is. Okay.
I literally was like, did I miss something? I really should have watched the last season, because I was like, I don't know. I didn't remember him being a child. That's good background. I'm gonna try and watch this Kite Man show and like get a little more background. But yeah, is there any other thoughts on this episode? Did we miss anything? I think we covered everything.
Let's see.
I think again, aside from she goes like me. Ivy comes back home and not being truthful about what happened, at the lab and stuff like that, and also what happens if Lena's gonna find out. Like, hey, what's I don't know how like nobody didn't catch on what happened, especially when she said, "I killed this guy finally," and then nobody just
hilarious.
True. Ivy's made a lot of impulsive decisions for being a very smart person. What about you, Keenan? Any other thoughts?
I hope that we get to that she is very upfront with Ivy about what happened with Jason. that will be on par with where they are now in that relationship.
Yeah, they're healthy.
So I feel like her not saying anything is going to be taking us back, and I don't want to do that.
Agreed. I agree. I don't think so. I think we'll be good. I think they're mature now, and they're like literally. Harley stole a kid, so they're basically parents now. So they had little Sean Shark, and I'm assuming Sean Shark is going to be a recurring character going forward. I have no idea, but I do love little Sean Shark. The fart jokes. If anyone's gonna do fart jokes, at least it's the little toddler. So yeah. Before we head out, any other thoughts on that? Okay. Before we head out, where can we find you guys on social media? Like.
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, also on Team JVS. You find me also here at Multiverse of Color platforms and stuff like that. But all my platform, YouTube, Instagram, all socials at Jedi Mike 7 right here. Yeah.
Hey. Where can we find you, Keeks?
You can find me at Keeks on Camera on Instagram and Blue Sky. And probably by the time this comes out, the Rewind podcast will be back, and we are covering a series of rebooted or rewound TV shows and movies. We just saw Nosferatu.
Oh, you like it?
A lot of people liked it. Willem Dafoe was the only reason to see that movie, and I'm convinced he was in a different movie.
Oh no, good to know. You can find me at Vanessa Shark. I'm gonna show those sharks here, but I forgot to during the episode. At Vanessa Shark on everything. These little baby sharks. Little Sean Shark is in the green with the blue shorts. That's little Sean Shark. You can find me at Vanessa Shark on Instagram, Blue Sky, whatever, all the stuff. And my writings on multiverseofcolor.com. You will find me. We'll cover Harley Quinn all season long, as well as covering Superman, all the things, Creature Commandos, everything. So yeah, just follow us at the Multiverse of Color. Where's my notes? Sorry, I'm all over the place right now. You can follow us at Multiverse of Color, at DC Studios Podcast, at the Multiverse of Color on all the channels. And yeah, hit us up with some reviews, any thoughts, and to go. All right, Cop Squad. Happy happy day of the week, whatever day it is.
Whenever you're listening to this.
Whatever day it is. Bye.